Welcome everyone back to another video, and today we'll be talking about the new upcoming Predator movie, Predator Prey, or Prey as it's known. A lot of people, we're gonna just, this is gonna be a rant video, so it's gonna be a long video. I don't know how long it's gonna be. This is not scripted. It's just off the wall, just, you know, how I feel about it, because I've seen a lot of things on the internet, and it's really, I don't know, it's a mix of people that don't know what they're talking about when it comes to as a Predator fans, you know what I mean. They don't know what they're talking about, they don't know the lore, they don't read, you know, maybe they haven't checked out the books, maybe they don't the comics, or maybe they don't want to do all that, but they're just going it based off the movies. So as a Predator fan myself, I really do love the design of this Predator. I really do. I think that you know, any Predator design is really welcomed in my book, especially from reading or general seeing a lot of the comic designs, which are basically scattershot. A lot of these Predator designs are from everywhere. You know what I mean? They can be the most ugliest looking thing. You know, the ugliest motherfucker too, being one of the coolest looking Predators designs, right? So when it comes to this design, I have no issues with the Predator. I think that the scenery and the trailer and what it looks really good. I think at least in the setting, you know. So the year or the era, right? I guess if you will, is 18, right? And this tribe is being, if I'm right, hunted. I haven't seen the movie yet, but from this is what I'm hearing as of now. Is being hunted by Predator, and this is obviously the Predator we know as the Prey Predator. Yeah, so there's a lot of people calling this, or a few people calling this Predator 3. No, this is not Predator 3. You know, this is like when people would say it's Predators was Predators 3. This is not Predators 3. In fact, this would be if we're gonna go in or category in order, obviously this is not the first Predator movie, duh, right? But this is being called the first Predator. In fact, I think the trailer shows that, or says that, or someone has said it's the first Predator. Maybe even the writer or somebody has said that. This is not the first Predator. Obviously, you know, if you're a Predator fan, this is a very, you know, this is a very bold statement. You know, this is not the first Predator. This has never been the first Predator. You know, as you know, and again, there's a lot of things that you could be looking this at from in a fan perspective. If you're just a fan of the movies, you're really gating yourself a lot from a lot of the other media that deals with Predator, such as the game called Predator Hunting Grounds. You know what I mean? This game, as you see in the background, is this canon. This is a canon video game, and you know, in the book, Predator Hunting Grounds, what was it called? Predators Stalking Shadows is canon. These are canon. This is a canon book. So, with that being said, you know, let's see. With that being said, and even the books within this line of books is canon. A lot of the things in this stuff is canon, but again, it's depending on how, you know, how much of a fan are you in Predator, you know, to really go out there and get these sources and go, if you're a fan of the video games, well, then you're playing Predator Hunting Grounds and you're getting a lot of the lore from there. Isabel is from Predators, is alive. She came back to Earth with a shuttle, and you know, I'll be making a video on those tapes, the USBs they did, very shortly, or I'll put it on this video. We'll see. And Dutch is alive, you know, and you know, and he's back. In the book, they explain that. You know, a lot of these characters are back, and it's coming with new, fresh lore. Again, this is canon. Saying that it's not canon, it's like saying that it's not canon with your own household. You know what I mean? It's not right. So overall, it's you're basically gating a lot of the lore away from from reality. You know what I mean? You're gating it for whatever reason, even though it's canon, it's truth. A lot of people obviously would like to kind of be like, oh, what about the AVP franchise? That's not canon, or that's not legit. It is legit, and it is canon. It's been canon ever since they added that. If you're a real fan, you know this. You would know that and you know what I'm gonna throw at your face. Ever since Predator 2, which is Predator 1, Predator 2. If we're gonna even go there, you know what I mean? There's an alien skull in the trophy room. It's simple as that. In the Lost Predator tribe is trophy room. There's an xenomorph skull. And some people would throw in my face some things like, oh, I want this and that. But in reality, there was going to be a crossover to begin with in there. Or, it was an Easter egg. It was a thing that they wanted to do. And later did they know that it would become a reality with Alien Requiem and AVP. You know what I mean? With the AVP franchise. Which is canon even more so. You want to know why? Because in Shane's Black, if I said his name right, they've made the xenomorph head and the xenomorph spear, that scar, in AVP, the first AVP movie, made for what's her name? I forgot her name, but the lady in the movie, he made the shield and the spear out of the xenomorph. And you know what movie we got to see that? In Shane's Black, The Predator. Even confirming, and that movie is canon. So again, it just why, gating that is really stupid. There's many great Predators we know that are from the AVP franchise that are canon, that have fought, in other series, in books, and things like that, before. It is, again, so I'm just want to clarify, gating the AVP franchise is again, that's not right, because that's a part of the canon. That's canon. As much as anyone tries to deny that is canon. That happened within the franchise of the Predator. With that being said, gating the Aliens franchise is another thing you can't do, because gating that franchise, entirely at least, is stupid too. And when I come from that, because engineers created the humans, and with that being said, since they created the humans, Predators helped the humans. You know what I mean? From the creators basically leaving, right, to the Predators basically supporting the humans, and supporting. I say that very loosely, because they were basically just kind of using us as like the guinea pigs, right? To basically training their Predators, their young bloods, to basically become adults in other ways, sacrificing us basically for their own need. But they also did help us in other ways, where they would create our agriculture, our buildings, and our temples and things like that. So, sort of like their home world. But back to what I was saying. So, Prey basically is, again, isn't the first Predator, obviously, if you're in reality. There's many other Predators before him, obviously, that were in Earth. And again, if you're going by the AVP franchise, you would know that that's obviously, that already eliminates the fact of the Prey Predator being the first Predator. Now, even more so in the same world, obviously the temples were destroyed. Some of them were saved. Especially, obviously, the one in AVP when it was in the Antarctic was obviously one of the ones that were saved. So that was another one you can obviously look at. And in other words, Going in the lore aesthetic, there's a lot of lore to really look into. If you're, again, if you haven't really been in top of Predator, you don't really know that much lore, you're going off of your head, there's a lot to look into, so saying this is the first Predator is wrong. We have many predators that have hunted in 1718. There is a comic of it, there's a novel of it. In fact, this same tribe is in that novel, If It Bleeds, if I'm right. And we get to see here, we get to see that. We get to see these predators hunt in 1718. So, and this tribe has fought a predator before. Now, again, it goes back to what I'm saying is that have people done their research? Obviously, I'm not saying that, you're not a true fan if you don't watch every single book or read or play every single game or this and that. No. But, but in the same in regard, gating a lot of this stuff that is canon is wrong. It's not right. You know what I mean? So with that being said, so yeah, the movie looks really promising in some regards. There's some things that are very, I guess some people are saying very woke, very not. This just don't there's very woke stuff going on, and I see that here and there in the movie. And do I like that being a thing? No, I really don't. I don't like it in any movie. I think that it's really unnecessary. But I can't do anything about that. I really can't. Because I'm not there. Other than me saying that I do not like it. I believe that it should not be at least in Predator. But it is made by Disney, so gotta keep that in mind from now on, as these movies are basically being made from the Predator franchise. And yeah, so 1718 is definitely this is the first Predator. But yeah, so there's definitely a lot of ways as a Predator fan you can look at it as. In lore wise, the timeline goes. The engineers made the humans. Predators came in, supported the humans, used them for their personal gain. After that, many Predators have come and went from planet Earth. And it's not uncommon to see a Predator in almost every era, or every years, in any timeline in Earth. To not, it's very uncommon. Predators have been here thousands of times, and even the comics and books and video games have explained that through and through. Even if they're not even canon, there's video games and books that have explained that. You know what I mean? So it's very sad. Where some of the things that are going on in the Predator franchise is being gated away based on this movie. I think when you look at this movie, I would only come in this movie just for the Predator lore and just for the Predator. A lot of people have said this Predator is like a bad blood, No, I mean, this Predator, people have said also, and I agree with this one, and I do like this part of the Predator's background, is that it's like the Predator's from Yautja Prime, the home world of the Predators, and it's instead of being like in the United States, it's like being in Europe, you know what I mean? It's like being in Canada, right? It's entirely different, you know what I mean? He's in a different part of the planet, and I like that. That's really cool. I think that's really great, and I think that we've seen a lot of that throughout the series of Predator. Since Predator 2, we've seen that's my favorite Predator movie, believe it or not. And when it comes to that movie, it was very innovational. Innovative when it comes to the Predator franchise, and that there's more than one Predator, obviously, right? But there's tribes. I mean, this is it, and then there's xenomorphs. I mean, it really gave us a lot in that movie. despite it's some of its stupid things it's done in there, but it's a lot. It's in my opinion, it's a good movie, and it opened the horizons of the Predator franchise. Overall, Prey looks to be very interesting because you have some things being said at this point. I don't want to say it's up to the person, you know, to base on what is canon and what is not, you know. And I don't want to say that because that's not necessarily true. If it's canon, and that's a fact. Like, but because deception and what being called the first Predator, it's very stupid. You see where I'm coming from? It's like saying, you know, it's like if I said, my Predator's the first Predator. Look, see, my Predator's from, 1613. You know what I mean? My Predator's from 1716. Ha! You know, it's not, no. You know? And I think that's stupid. Yeah, obviously, when Predator Hunting Grounds Stalking Shadows, Predator Stalking Shadows, the book, kind of elaborated on that, Sean Keyes, elaborated that, yeah, who knows how many there have been in this planet. And, yeah, I mean, even finalizing the AVP franchise in here, in the book, and not in the book, and even in the game. It's, again, it's knowing your stuff and not, again, reading what's canon and what's not. Isabel's alive. She came back. Dutch is alive. He's knows what's going on. He joined OWLF. He's been hunting predators. Again, this is all canon. It's literally facts. You can't deny that. And as much as you want to spin it, it's not gonna happen. You're not gonna magically make something that's canon not be canon. AVP, it's canon. A lot of people are gonna hate me for that one, but I know a lot of people won't. AVP is canon. Within the Predator franchise, at least. I don't know about the Aliens franchise, but within the Predator franchise itself, yes, aliens do exist in this franchise, and yes, there's predators that do hunt xenomorphs, and yes, they are used for young bloods to basically become adults. That is a thing. You know what I mean? And, yes, young bloods don't have to necessarily fight xenomorphs, but it's very high praise. You can fight humans, and again, it depends on the tribe, what Predator clan you're in, and so on and so forth. I mean, it's, again, this is like common knowledge to the Predator fan. You know what I mean? Like, this is just how it is, but if you don't know, well, I mean, it is, I mean, that becomes a thing where it's like, alright, that's on you as the person viewing the movie. You don't know what's going on, then that's on you. You know what I mean? So, I highly suggest, if you're not, agreeing with what I'm saying, please fact check. Please go into, do your own, go through the movies again, do your own research. I mean, read some of the books, play some of the games. I mean, it's most of it's canon, some of it's not, but most of it is canon. And just go. I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, you gotta do your research. Read the comics, look into it, really, and it's there. So, again, I think the movie is going to, if it is canon within in the timeline, it would obviously be before '87, but not be but won't be necessarily the first Predator. I think that's just for advertisement. I think that's just, publicity. It's just saying, look, ours is the first Predator. It's the first Predator. Check him out. Look at him. I don't think it's actually going to be. Obviously, it isn't the first Predator. So, with that being said, it would probably be. It would be the engineers make humans, predators help humans,
Yes.
predators leave Earth, and then prey would come in along with a lot other predators, obviously, from 1718, and even before that time, but we'll not even go that far back. Predators come back, obviously, to hunt humans, because we've made we've made weapons. Let's see. So we go from there. Then we go to 87. We also go to the future. 87, 97. Hunting, obviously, predators are all throughout that time. Those gaps, all where predators are hunting humans, and there's stories to be told. There could be an 1817 predator. There could be, there's times. I'm pretty sure there's lore out there that fills these gaps of hunting eras. Again, if you read the comics, you do research, there is predators out there. Just like in after the 87 movie Predator, Dutch was hunting predators. He killed a predator. You know what I mean? Even after that, 87 in the future, he tried hunting the freaking City Hunter. In 97, he was there in L.A. while everything was happening. Obviously, he missed his shot when it came to killing the predator. Because we all know what happens in the end of that movie. So he obviously didn't do what he came there to do. But that wasn't the end of that. He kept hunting predators. He, in fact, came to a point where he joined OWLF. People were talking to him. He was off grid. You know what I mean? Again, it's Isabel came back. She piloted a ship back to Earth. I mean, these are things that should be common knowledge in reality, and shouldn't be said. But, with things being said like this is the first Predator, and things being dodged, right, by either the writers themselves or being, people being persuaded, or people going off just the movies alone. It's kind of like with Godzilla franchise, right? It's like when people say Legendaries is the best Godzilla, or they say some hocus pocus. It's just, or they say that better said that Legendary is better than this and that, or Legendaries is this, or it's not, or Final Wars is canon. You know what I mean? It's fan bullshit. It's the better be said. If you're a fan, you'll get into it. You'll read the books. You'll play the games. You'll see the movies. You do your research behind the movies. You do fan things. If you're just somebody who just watches the movies just because it's a movie, then of course that might, because someone's telling you it's the first Predator, you're probably gonna be like, that's the first Predator. Look, see, it says it. When in reality, that's not. So, believe what you want to believe, but in reality, you know what I mean? It's fact that AVP's a thing. It's fact that Dutch is alive. It's fact that Isabel's alive. It's fact that they're back at Earth. Isabel's back at Earth. It's a fact that, aliens are around. You know what I mean? Again, it's the fact that the prey predator wasn't the only predator, and is not the first Predator. Now people are gonna be like, people could go around and being like, yeah, but he was the first 1718 Predator. Maybe in that year. You know what I mean? Like, maybe he was the first Predator in that year, but being the first Predator to be landing on Earth, no, he was not, and no, he will never be. And that's just how it is. That's how the boat sails. Again, fact.
Yes. Kill yourself.
So to close this off, again,
it's
it's depending on how much of a fan are you to really go into the really nitty gritty and the facts. Some people don't like the Alien AVP franchise. so they kind of want to ignore that thing ever happened. And yeah, I do agree. You know, I really don't like Shane Black's The Predator, but it happened.
I'm gonna play by the rules.
As much as I want to try to say it never did, it happened and it's canon. As much as I want to say, a lot of people want to say Predator 2 sucked. It was cringy. It wasn't good at all. It was just very bad as a movie. You know, it happened. It's canon. Saying that it didn't is like, what? Like what? You know? So again, it goes back to what I said. If you're a fan of a franchise, you know, you're a fan of the franchise. You know, in my consideration of a fan is going through everything of that franchise. You know what I mean? Going through from the beginning to the end, how the franchise started, who did that, who did this, how was this, and this and that. That's just that's what I think a fan really is. From top to bottom, know the franchise in the back of their hand, what's canon, what's not. You know, and when I see things like this, that it is being said, even, you know, the own people that are making this movie calling this the first Predator, it's not really, obviously it doesn't sit well for me, because as a fan I know that this isn't the first Predator, but it's not much I can do really other than say that it's not the first Predator, but that's the case, you know, that's what we're at as hands here, and for those that are real fans will know that this is not the first Predator, and a lot of people have spoken up and said this movie sucks. You know, and honestly, I'm only here for the lore, and from what I've gathered, then of the Predator alone, is all I need. I don't care about the human drama. I really don't. You know, unless you told me you brought back Dutch, unless you told me it's to the big screen again, unless you told me you brought a lot of these famous actresses and actresses back, then I don't care. You know, that we know from the franchise or from the books or from the comic, I don't care. You know what I mean? I really don't. I think it's irrelevant. I think it's a bunch of drama bullcrap, but maybe it's good. Again, I don't know. I've never seen it. And but we'll see. But I know I've read and I've played and I've seen all of the Predator movies. I've read most of the books. I've comics too, and when it comes to the games, I've played Predator Undergrounds. I've played a few other ones from the Xbox. So that's just it. You know, so you know, and obviously I've played the AVP arcade games and whatever. And that's just it. So again, I mean, I know what I'm talking about. I you know, I know what is, I know what isn't, and it just goes back to what I'm saying is, you know, real fans or don't. If you go online, and you see people just blabbering their mouth about how this is canon, this is the first Predator, and isn't that? Then yeah, well, you know, we'll see. We'll see whether this becomes canon or not, or is. I mean, it's very bold statements being made here. You know, so, you know, it is what it is. Alright guys, with that being said, happy hunting guys, and take it easy. See you guys later. I'll probably keep an update of Prey when it comes to the lore of it, or if I feel like I want to talk about this movie again, or you know, and or general talk because someone else is like, oh, I don't listen to that. So I'll probably be like, you know, talking about this movie or posting videos on this movie. But yeah, I mean, we'll go from there. With that guys being said, finally, happy hunting. See you guys later.